First of all, just appreciate the fans, turning out today. It was a nice crowd, and good opportunity for our guys to mingle a little bit with the Kids Day concept, and then also we had the kids captains here. So, part side of football is really nice. Kind of the first time they get to see some outside faces. And then football-wise, a lot of good things out there. It looked like, but a lot of things certainly we have to get cleaned up quickly if we're going to be ready to play here in a couple of weeks. So, I think overall the effort's been good. We're 12 workouts into it now. Made some good progress. The effort's been good. The attitude's been good. But, obviously we have a lot of things that are going to have to really improve here in the next few weeks before we're in a game week mode.
What do you think of your quarterback situation?
I think we're going to let those guys continue to compete. It's really Kyle and Nate, or Kyle and Tower, fighting it out. Let me try that again. Nate. Number 4, number 8. Okay, yeah, Nate and Tower out there fighting it out. But they've had 12 good days. It's gone back and forth a little bit. And but they're the first level, and then Ryan's right behind those guys.
How long before you would like to make a decision?
We'll just let it play out. We'll see what happens this week, and we got another scrimmage on Friday night, which is a big night for us. Hopefully, we'll make a lot of strides in this the next 5-6 days here, and maybe the thing will be a little bit more clear then. But we'd like to let this thing run out a little bit.
Did you think Nate settled into a little better rhythm as the day went on today than Tyler maybe did?
Yeah, but this is one exposure out of 12, so we're trying to measure the whole body of work. And again, both guys have done some really good things, and both of them have some things that they'd like to change or take back. But that's what you expect, and they're both gaining ground, but they're both like our team. They have things they have to do to get better.
Tyler seems to be the more vocal one out of the two, and Nate seems to be quieter. Is that a characteristic you'd like to see Nate become a little bit more vocal in that position?
Not necessarily. It's like anything you do. You got to do it within your personality. But somehow you got to have command too. You've got to be in charge, and everybody's got different personalities, different ways of doing that. But I think Tyler has a little bit more comfort, if you will. He's been on campus longer than Nate. But at the end of the day, we're going to make the judgment based on who we think can move the team the best. That's really what it gets down to.
Butler looked like a veteran backup.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen him live. He's had a good, really good camp, so we've been happy about that. But it's hard to evaluate guys until you're really tackling. This is the first time we've tackled, so it was good to see him run. I thought when we went to a live period, he even looked more impressive. So he's definitely going to help our football team. And then happy to announce finally Matt Quarles is officially, I think went through Congress, the Supreme Court and all that stuff. But we got him. He's officially a Hawkeye as of yesterday. So this was his second practice. He'll be able to have pads on Monday, and we're happy about that. He seems like a really quality young man. He's been here for a couple of weeks now, and hasn't been with us officially, but he's been around, and just a really impressive young guy.
Yeah, not in pads today, but he looks like an athlete.
Yeah, and again, that maturity factor. He's a guy who's graduated, did a nice job, and has been admitted in our graduate school. So, kind of tells you a little bit about his academic standing. And our good luck was his bad luck. They went to an option attack, so he made the decision he wanted to get somewhere where they could, maybe catch a couple balls, and we're really pleased about that.
What do you think the learning curve is for someone like him, to kind of catch up?
Yeah, we'll just have to let it. He hasn't been able to come to meetings, any of that stuff. He hasn't been in camp. He's been out to practice, but you don't learn until you start doing things. So at least now we can start accelerating that a little bit. He was able to, be out there yesterday, but we'll just take it as one day at a time. And if he can help us in September, great. If it's October, great. And hopefully at some point he'll be able to help our football team.
You've moved a lot of guys around on the offensive line today.
Yeah.
Is that by design? You're just kind of feeling.
We've kind of been doing that all 12 workouts, and at some point we'll start zeroing in on that a little bit too. But we've got good competition. It's a little bit like the linebackers. We have a pretty good idea how Sean Walsh is going to play right now. So a couple of those guys we have a pretty good feel. But you're always kind of toying around, see what kind of flexibility guys have, and I think that's one position we're developing some depth. Unfortunately, today we were a little short. We have 3 or 4 guys with stuff that's really minor, but they couldn't go. So we got pressed a little bit with our third team reps. A lot of those guys were going through too, so that kind of dampens things a little bit. But it's all stuff that'll clear up.
A lot of Sean Walsh at right tackle today. Is that just the emergency thing, or?
Yeah, and then we're just seeing how everything goes. But nice thing about him, he probably can play all 5 if we have to. We haven't worked him at center, but he can play both tackles and guards. So. Yeah, you just never know what combinations are going to unfold, and this is a good time to play with that.
Is Matt Nelson officially a defensive tackle?
Not officially, but same thing. We're looking at him both ways. He's missed some time. Obviously missed a lot of the spring practice. so he's behind that way. But yeah, we're weighing all of our options there, and again, same thing, trying to, like last year, we had 3 guys at each position that could play, and we'd like to get to that. I think we have that at least in one of the positions, and then we got to figure out the other equation.
Boone was playing some with the second unit. Was that just by design, or was there something?
No, nothing there. I mean, we're just rotating guys. We didn't have really 10 full guys that could go with 1s and 2s, so that's all that was about.
Was Wirfs more of a 2 before you did practice?
Tristan's been doing really well. You know, he came out of practice 2 days ago, I guess it would have been Thursday maybe, and you know, he should be back Monday or Tuesday. But he's doing really well. Both he and AJ are off to a good start.
AJ, I think he got 3 sacks or whatever you want to call it in this period. He seems to be around the ball.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he's impressed us. He definitely belongs, you know, on the varsity. He's one of those types of guys. He fits in pretty well. Has no idea what he's doing most of the time right now, but he physically, you know, is doing a pretty good job.
But is he at a position where maybe he can play earlier because of the position it is?
Yeah, possibly, but you know, just you know, if you don't know what your responsibility is before the ball snapped, I don't mean that he's just inexperienced.
Yeah.
So that's how you give up the big plays. So we got to make sure that, you know, we have a pretty good confidence level he can do that. But there's plenty of time, and it's kind of like Matt Quarles a little bit. You know, if it's October, that's okay. I mean, it'd be nice if it was September, but he's in the mix right now for playing time. We'll see, you know, see how far he can go. And the thing we don't know about, especially some of the younger guys, you know, they're going to hit the wall at some point. A couple of guys already have, and that proverbial wall is waiting for them at some stage, somewhere here in the next 2 weeks probably. And you know, how do they come out of that once they hit it? Because they'll probably hit it, and we'll see what they do after that.
What about the rest of the wide receivers? You know, Matt didn't play a whole lot, which
Yep.
is probably by design, I assume. But what about you know, the younger ones, the freshmen who came in, and then also Falconer and Devontae Young?
It's a little bit like our team. We're certainly not game ready by any stretch, but that group in particular, the guys that were here in the spring, every guy in that group that was here this spring is practicing better now. They look more like Big Ten football players, and then the young guys have given us an infusion, and kind of like I just talked about, you know, how much can they learn, how fast can they pick things up, and then how can they keep the pace, can they stay up with the other guys over the next couple of weeks. That's something that remains to be seen, but I think it's realistic to think a couple of those guys are going to press for some playing time and get a chance to maybe get on the field, and hopefully it'll make us a better team.
Seemed like a lot of false starts today. Is that
Oh, yeah.
indicative of this time of year, or is that more than usual?
It's yes and no, but I mean, it's still disappointing. And I can give you the exact number if you want me to pull it out. I think it's like 7 or 8. 7. Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, you know, if I go back and look at last year's, no, it's probably pretty similar.
Yeah.
But it's that's a challenge we're running right now, because you can't. You know, 1st and 15s are really hard. 3rd and 15s are impossible, and so self-inflicted wounds. You know, that's the race that we're running right now.
Place kicker. One guy had a better day than the other today. Is it still
A little bit like the quarterback situation. You know, we're going to keep watching everything over the course of time, not just one day. But that being said, it was really encouraging today. I thought Miguel, you know, it was probably his best day as a Hawkeye. He really kicked the ball well. I don't think he missed any. You guys counted him like, I didn't see a miss. And then the ones he hit, I mean, they were true. They weren't limping over the goalpost. So that was good to see. That was the best he's been.
With 7 freshman defensive backs, obviously somebody had to move a few places.
Yep.
I saw Colbert's down more at weak side linebacker and Harrell's at wide receiver.
Yeah, we're probably going to keep Jaime in there. I think that's whatever he was weighing, 213, 214, and he was you know, sucking it in to try to stay down. So I think that's probably more natural, and I think he's enthused about that opportunity. And you know, Cam we'll just keep an open mind on, but we're looking at him a little bit there, and you know, we'll just keep an open mind with him.
It's been a long camp, longer than usual. Are you where you need to be? Do you think at this point?
You know, it's longer, you know, time-wise, duration-wise than it is. We're at 12 practices, which is about where we were last year at this time. It just took us longer to get there. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. My biggest gripe about this whole thing is just that we're cutting into the players' quote-unquote discretionary time. So that's my biggest complaint. Now, the other thing is where we're going to be in 2 weeks, you know, mentally. You know, that's the next thing I think you got to think about is, you know, our guy's going to get stale because you go that duration of time without really doing something outside. And that's why a day like today is good. Just break the routine and what have you. Tomorrow's technically a practice day, but we're not going to practice. But we're allowed to meet with them since it's a practice day. So we're giving up one of those, so at least we could meet like, you know, it's kind of stupid that we're using a practice day just to meet. It's what we would have done anyway. So, but I got to move on. Okay, that's a tough subject, and you know, so we'll just handle day by day. And if the guys look like they're getting stale, we'll have you guys come in and tell some jokes for them or whatever, help them out.
A couple more guys.
Are the injuries minor, Kirk? The guys that are
Yeah,
out?
for the most part, everything's pretty, you know, healable, and one or two guys, like, you know, I know we're talking about a couple weeks for a couple guys, but nothing that's, you know, going to affect the season. But you know, it's just part of camp.
Nick Easley, has he been out for a while?
He's not long, and he should be back pretty quick, pretty minor. Yep.
Stone, as you're playing what, second free safety, has he elevated himself in this camp?
Yeah, he's done a good job too. I mean, he's in the mix potentially. I'm not saying it's the same as, but it'd be a little bit like Hooker last year, and we played Hooker on special teams, and he's a backup safety. You know, how much can he learn that way? I don't know, but realistically, to play on special teams, I think he's in the mix there for sure. And you know, if a guy can help us, I think that's good. And it's made Amani a better player this year than it would have been, I think, if he had redshirted. So that's a bonus. You know, you give up that year, but guys are on the field helping special teams be better. And I think, you know, we've been practicing pretty well on special teams, so we're looking. Everybody's got an opportunity right now.
You have an incoming freshman punter, Gersandi. How is that competition rolling?
It's a little bit like the quarterback and some of the receiver things and the kicker. It's been pretty good. You know, pretty good competition. I think both of them have. I'd say the same thing about that as with the receiver situation. It looks better than it did in the spring. One because Colton's punting better, and then the other is because Gersandi is a good prospect. So I think we're a better team at that position. You know, than we were last April. That's good.
How's Josh Jackson come along? He looks like he's bigger, more confident at that position.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting. You know, 2 years ago he's always been a great kid, but he was kind of an unmade bed. You know, just a lot of loose ends. You know, not a real big detail guy, and you know, I think his growth and his maturity over the last, especially I'd say over the last 8 months, has just really been fun to watch. But I'll go back to there was a road game in 15 where he was really competing against a good player on our boundary on the third down play. So you see little snapshots like that, and you think, boy, there's something here with this guy. But he wasn't ready to play full time at that point, and now I think he is. I mean, he's really just kept going through it, and he had a great summer, phenomenal summer, as good as anybody we had. So those are good indicators that guy's really getting there mentally, and you know, he's ready to meet the challenge. And you know, we're gonna have a lot of challenges.
Do you think there's any way you would
Last question.
go into the opener thinking you'd play both quarterbacks? Really against
You know, if we'd rather not, but if that's what it means, that's what it means. But we'd rather not, quite frankly. It's just, it'd be nice to, at some point, you know, in a perfect world, when we start preparing for our first game, to have a 1 or 2. I think it's better for the team overall. But you know, we'll handle it however we have to handle it. And you know, usually time exposes things. You know, but I doubt it's going to be just clear cut. I doubt that's going to happen. You never know. Okay, thanks guys.
Appreciate it.
Okay.